Hey, what's going on, RC drivers? Welcome back to the channel. I've been busy here in the workshop working on a bunch of different stuff. I've got the TLR22 DC in the works. I've got that K10 partially filmed. I've got this Tamiya CC02 Defender in the works. There's a ton of decals to cut out and just a bunch of other projects going on. It's probably the reason why I don't have a ton of videos going up every week. I'm just bouncing around between everything, and of course I've got something else I just realized I have to work on too. See that box down there? I've been kicking that Ryft box while I've been working on the CC02, and it finally dawned on me, I never finished that thing up. I did the build up, showed you guys what the kit was all about, but never painted the body on it, never threw in the electronics. So you know what, another detour. I'm gonna go work on that right now because it's been snowing outside. I think it's just gonna be a lot of fun to go rip around in the snow. Saw Tony CC doing it with his ready to run Ryft, so it kind of got me going. So let me get this thing out from under the workbench, show you where we're at. All right, so here's our Axial Ryft that I basically built up for that first look video. If you haven't seen that, I will put a link up above, one down in the description, just so you don't miss it. But I got pretty far on this thing. I got a servo in there, that counts, right? Didn't glue the tires yet. That's something that I kind of didn't want to do then. And actually I got an idea. I'll show you what my idea is in a minute for the wheels on this thing, but I do need to pick out some more electronics for it. So let's go over to the tool cabinet. I bet you guys have been wondering what's in the tool cabinet. Not just tools, this is where I'm storing a lot of stuff now, and one shelf in here is for Castle. We're gonna put a Castle system in here, and I have some stuff to check this out. I've got a bunch of systems, and I only think one of them is actually gonna fit. So this Copperhead here, this is a short course system, but I think it's gonna work. I looked it up. This is a 1412 motor, 3200 kV, and oh, it's an 1/8 inch shaft, and I know the pin gear that comes with it is a 5mm. So I am going to dig through this because I know I have some adapters. I might even have the right gear. So if I do from Robinson, I'll go and use that for the pinion setup, but we're just gonna go have fun with this. And I think this system will work just fine for this car. Like I said, I've got a high-tech servo in here already, so check that out, there it is. And I do have to put a radio system in it. We'll go Spectrum, of course. I just have to pull out a receiver for it. In fact, you know what, let's go do that. I think I have a receiver that we could go drop right in, and here we go. This is one of the telemetry receivers. So I think we could go and use that. Wow, the lighting is really bad over here. I do need to fix that, but we also need to paint this thing. Oh my God, what color are we gonna use? I think we're gonna go with some Tamiya spray cans because I don't have an airbrush that's working to use my Proline paints. So what are we going to paint it? I'm thinking pearl white. I think that would look pretty sick with the decals that come with it. There's the pearl white, and then here are the decals from Axial. So I think that white will just really make these pop. I think we'll go with these red stripes. Those look pretty cool. So I'm just gonna start tearing into this thing, getting this thing finished up, and when I'm done, we're gonna go take it outside for a rip. Look at this thing, I've got it all torn down, ready for the electronics to go in, and I just kind of want to recap what I'm doing here. I've got my Copperhead system that is going to go in. I actually have a SX107 servo in for the shift servo, and I know there's a bunch of people that gotta run to the comments and say that's horrible, how could you recommend that? And listen, I've got like 12 of these things that work well. Here's one that is bad. Yes, they do go bad, some of them go bad. I've seen a lot of people complain about it. I've seen people complain that I don't, suggest other options, and there are other options out here. In fact, here we go. This is a Ryft servo. People are saying, I'm afraid to say Ryft servos. They make great servos. This is actually going to go in my Gladiator. This would be a good option for this rig if you were looking for an option for it, but I'm gonna go with the 107, so that's that. Now, I am gonna make a receiver change. I'm just gonna put a smaller SR315 in there, and let's go over this brushless system. So again, I've got the copper head going in. This is labeled as a short course system. So as I was reading on the website, it does say to go and gear down if you're gonna go run this thing on 4S. And why is this thing packaged so tight? All right, there we go. So let me see, here's the motor. So they say, you know, gear down if you're gonna run on 4S. So I'm actually gonna do that anyway because I'm not gonna go crazy with this thing. And here is the motor. It's a sensored motor and it will go really well with this copper head. Everything is programmable. And the sleeve, as I was telling you about earlier, I am going to need a sleeve because I've got a 5mm bore pinion gear. I'm gonna go and throw a 14 on there just to gear down enough so when I bolt up, everything should hopefully run cool. But Robinson Racing makes sleeves to go and adapt 5mm bore pinion gears to a 1/8 inch shaft. I've seen a lot of people looking for recommendations on how to do that. Of course, you can go find a pinion gear that is properly sized, but if you want to stick with, like, let's say the 17 tooth that comes with this, you could get one of these sleeves and they work out really well. All right, with all that said, now it is time for me to drop in these electronics. There's our Ryft. I slapped that thing together. I just threw in the electronics, made sure that the servos were centered, soldered up the ESC plug, and it is pretty much good to go. Went with a single color on the body panels and it came out great, I think. Love how you just throw some decals on, really makes the rig look good. And now it's time to install the wheels and tires. But I don't feel like gluing. And then I remembered I had some leftover wheels from Vanquish from a project that just got canned. I don't know really what happened to it, but decided not to do it. And I have these rims left over. Check this out. These are really good looking rims. Let's find the package version. Here we go. Check these out. Can't wait to throw the tires on these, bolt them up to the rig and see how it looks. Then we're gonna take it outside. Let's go. All right, drivers, my Ryft kit is finally together. I had a little problem with the wheels, but I'll talk to you guys about that at the end. I'm at the BMX track now, and I remembered there was some dirt mounds behind the track, which I think is gonna be perfect to drive the Ryft on. And then over here, we've got some snow and ice. That is just gonna be a blast. So let's turn this thing on and take it out for a run. All right, guys, I just set my trims, and let's see how fast this thing is. Whoa, that castle system. I like the power of that. Look at that. Yeah, gear mesh is all set right. I had to guess on that. All right, let's hit this dirt mound here. This is what I came for. Nice. A little bouncing action. That's cool. Ready? Here we go. I don't know what's on the back side of that thing. Oh, turtled it. I hit this one a little harder. Oh, that was cool. I got to do that again. Just kind of send it. Here we go. Oh, that servo saver just caved in. Plenty of steering though. That thing is bouncing around, yeah! Oh, lost the wheel. That was the wheel problem I was telling you about. All right, I'm gonna switch the wheels up on this thing. I just did a wheel swap, stole them off my ready to run. We're back in action now, and this ice patch over here is just calling me. Gotta go rip on it over here. That's cool, like the slide. Yeah, a little drift action with the Ryft. Off-road drift. Cool. All right, now I gotta do a little hill climb. Shredding some grass. There we go, look at that thing slide around. And now a little fun in the snow, although it's actually more ice, so we're just gonna kind of rip this thing around. Look at this. And get a run through this rough stuff. So I gotta go over here, get some traction, and just blast through this thing. Ready? Here we go. Whoa, yeah! Oh man, that's killer. We'll get a little more bouncing action over here in this rough stuff. All right, here we go again. Missed that. Boom. Nice. Into a slide, into a drift. Oh, if I just correct it. There we go. Got it. Boom. Let's head back to the workshop, wrap up this review. Before we get into the performance, let's talk about my wheel problem. So I was assembling my Vanquish wheels, everything was going fine, they look super cool, but when I went to put the hex adapter on, I noticed that it wasn't going to work right. There's an 8mm nut on this rig, and it really is designed for a 7mm nut, so I went digging through my stuff, wound up finding these brass adapters that I thought was going to work, but the nut didn't really seat on there properly. I put a little Loctite on, but as you guys saw, the wheel still fell off. So either I need to find a different adapter or find a nut without the flange on it so it could seat on there properly, hold these wheels in place. The other thing was the adapters I had, or these adapters actually, the brass adapters were a little bit narrower. So I got a little bit of work to do there, but it's not about these wheels. You know, the kit does come with wheels and tires, and this thing is a blast. I had a great time with the Ready to Run, and this thing is just killer as well. I was really happy with the electronics that I picked in this thing. I was running on a 3S Helios pack. I had that Castle system that I showed you guys, and I think that's just enough power. I've seen some guys overpowering these things and they wind up coming home broken or whatever, and people get upset, or you know, you can go and put some aftermarket parts on it to handle larger power systems, but if you're looking for something right out of the box, it works really well. I think this system was on point. The steering servo, even with the servo saver on there, had plenty of steering. I might eliminate that servo saver later on down the road, but this thing was just a beast out there. You saw it launching over those dirt mounds. They were frozen. It was 30 32 degrees or so, 33 degrees. The sun was melting some of the mud on the dirt mounds, which is why this thing is so messy, but it was cold out and this thing put up with a lot of abuse. And these are the version 1 axles on here still. We know that those can break. They have version 2s that are probably in this kit now. This is a really early version kit, but they were going to switch that up. But as I mentioned, if you go crazy with this thing, putting a big power system in there, you want to send it, you're going to have to look at an aftermarket axle for it. But if you're going to concentrate on your drive, I think you'll have a good time and you should be able to get away with the stock axles on here. The other issue that people have that I know about is the shock shafts bending, and I bent the shock shafts on mine, both front shock shafts actually, and it's when I hit the tree stump that I didn't see in the ground, the car just came to a halt, and that's when those bent. So, you know, when something's going 30 miles an hour, hits something, comes to a dead stop, something usually breaks, and I did take out the shock shafts. But you know what? I just motored through it. I didn't even stop. I kept going. I said, it is what it is, and I still had fun with this car even more. Actually ran another battery pack through it, and it's just a beast. It's cool to watch this thing bounce off of the rocks. I had fun drifting it through the snow and ice. It is a fun rig. There's plenty of parts out there to customize it and build it and really make something wild if that's what you're into. But I do like the kit version. It's got some cool stuff on there. It's got the sway bar. It's got the 2-speed, although I wound up driving it in first gear mostly. Most of that action was on first gear. Just a fun rig overall, and I think it needs more credit out there. There's a lot of guys having fun with these machines, and if you've been thinking about it, do your research on it. It is a fun rig. Just be aware of your drive if you're gonna leave the stock axles on there, and watch out for those shock shafts. But it's a fun machine. All right, guys, let me know what you think about the Ryft in the comment section below. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell. I'll have links in the video description. Hit that like button, and we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.